Yahya Sinwar. Once a shadowy figure in Gaza, Sinwar has become synonymous with terror, his influence extending far beyond the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Born in a refugee camp, Sinwar's early life was steeped in the bitterness of displacement and the yearning for a Palestinian homeland. This yearning morphed into a venomous ideology, nurtured in the nascent days of Hamas and fueled by a deep-seated hatred for Israel. His rise through the ranks was swift, marked by a chilling pragmatism and a willingness to use violence for political gain. From orchestrating suicide bombings to masterminding complex hostage situations, Sinwar's tactics have evolved, yet his ultimate objective remains unchanged: the destruction of Israel. The October 7th attack, a meticulously planned massacre, stands as a chilling testament to his ruthlessness and a stark reminder of the global threat he poses. Sinwar's story underscores the insidious reach of radical ideology and the challenges we face in a world grappling with extremism. To comprehend Sinwar's radicalization, one must journey back to the dusty streets of Khan Yunis in Gaza. Born in 1962, Sinwar's childhood was scarred by the 1967 Six-Day War, which saw Israel occupy Gaza. Witnessing the hardships faced by his people under occupation sowed the seeds of resentment and fueled his anger towards Israel. During his teenage years, Sinwar encountered the nascent stages of Hamas, a group formed in 1987 with the objective of liberating Palestine through armed struggle. Hamas's ideology, a blend of Palestinian nationalism and radical Islamism, resonated deeply with Sinwar's experiences and frustrations. Sinwar's charisma and ruthlessness quickly propelled him through the ranks, marked by a chilling ability to plan and execute violent operations. The Israeli authorities, alarmed by Sinwar's growing influence, identified him as a key figure in Hamas's insurgency. While many within Hamas were driven by raw emotion, Sinwar possessed a sharp intellect that set him apart. He advocated for a multi-pronged approach, combining military operations with social outreach to solidify Hamas's grip on Palestinian society. Under his guidance, Hamas established a vast network of social service organizations, providing essential services like healthcare, education, and financial assistance. This strategy proved effective, allowing Hamas to portray itself as a champion of the Palestinian people while masking its true intentions. Sinwar never lost sight of Hamas's ultimate goal: the destruction of Israel. He oversaw the development of Hamas's military infrastructure, transforming it into a formidable fighting force. Under his leadership, Hamas acquired sophisticated weaponry, dramatically escalating the threat posed to Israel. Sinwar's strategic acumen earned him the respect and admiration of many within Hamas. His rise to prominence was both rapid and inevitable, making him one of the most feared and influential terrorist leaders of our time. As Sinwar's influence within Hamas grew, so did the audacity and lethality of the organization's attacks. The early 1990s witnessed a dramatic escalation in violence, with Hamas claiming responsibility for a series of suicide bombings and shootings targeting Israeli civilians. Sinwar played a pivotal role in planning and executing these attacks. One such attack in 1993 involved the kidnapping and execution of an Israeli border policeman, Nissim Toledano. This brutal act sent shockwaves through Israeli society, shattering the fragile peace. The Israeli government, outraged by the attack, vowed to hunt down those responsible, placing a bounty on Sinwar's head. This marked a turning point, cementing his status as a wanted terrorist. The Toledano kidnapping intensified the cycle of violence and illustrated Sinwar's cold-blooded nature. This act of terror branded him as a ruthless killer in the eyes of Israel and the international community. Section 5: A Life Behind Bars, Sinwar's Forging in Israeli Prisons. In 1988, after years of evading capture, Sinwar was apprehended and sentenced to 4 life terms for his role in the Toledano murder and other acts of terror. Prison did little to diminish Sinwar's influence or his commitment to Hamas's ideology. Within Israeli prisons, Sinwar found himself among hundreds of Hamas members, many of whom revered him for his past exploits. He utilized this captive audience to solidify his standing within the organization and shape the minds of a new generation of militants. Sinwar organized study groups, delivered fiery sermons, and disseminated Hamas's propaganda, transforming Israeli prisons into breeding grounds for radicalization. Despite efforts to isolate him, Sinwar's influence transcended prison walls. He maintained contact with Hamas's external leadership, ensuring his voice continued to resonate within the organization. Far from breaking his spirit, Sinwar's time in prison deepened his resolve, emerging more determined than ever to achieve Hamas's objectives. Section 6. From Captivity to Command, Sinwar's Rise from the Ashes. The 2011 prisoner exchange that secured Sinwar's release sent shockwaves through Israel and beyond. Hailed as a hero by Hamas supporters, his return to Gaza marked a turning point in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Sinwar's rise to prominence within Hamas was swift and calculated. He capitalized on his image as a battle-hardened veteran, a symbol of Palestinian resistance against Israeli oppression. In 2012, Sinwar was appointed as Hamas's military commander in Gaza, a testament to his growing influence. Under Sinwar's leadership, Hamas underwent a period of intense military buildup, expanding its arsenal and developing new tactics to counter Israel's military superiority. Sinwar's leadership style was marked by decisiveness, strategic brilliance, and unwavering commitment to Hamas's ideology. He transformed Hamas into a formidable fighting force, posing a significant threat to Israel's security. His release from prison unleashed a dangerous new chapter in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Section 7. Reigniting the Flames, the Bloody Resurgence under Sinwar. With Sinwar at the helm, a palpable shift occurred within Hamas. Sinwar brought a chilling ruthlessness and a calculated approach to violence, transforming Hamas's military wing into a disciplined and deadly force. Under Sinwar's command, Hamas intensified its rocket attacks against Israel, launching barrages that paralyzed daily life and instilled terror in the hearts of Israeli citizens. Sinwar's strategy went beyond simple rocket fire. He understood the psychological impact of terror and sought to exploit it. Hamas, under his guidance, invested heavily in tunnel warfare, creating a vast network of underground tunnels stretching into Israeli territory. These tunnels, designed to infiltrate and attack Israeli communities, sowed fear and uncertainty among the Israeli population. Sinwar orchestrated daring raids into Israel, targeting military installations and civilian communities alike, aiming to inflict maximum casualties and sow fear. These attacks, often captured on camera and disseminated through social media, bolstered Hamas's image as a formidable force and a defender of the Palestinian people. Section 8, October 7, 2023, a day of unfathomable carnage. The world watched in horror as the events of October 7, 2023 unfolded. Orchestrated by Yahya Sinwar, Hamas unleashed a wave of violence so shocking, so meticulously planned, that it shattered any semblance of normalcy. The coordinated assault began with a massive barrage of rockets targeting major Israeli cities. As sirens blared and families huddled in bomb shelters, Hamas commandos launched a multi-pronged ground invasion. Armed with sophisticated weaponry and fueled by a fanatical ideology, they stormed Israeli towns and military bases, leaving a trail of carnage in their wake. What followed were scenes of unimaginable brutality, with civilians massacred in their homes, on the streets, and even at a music festival. The images, broadcast globally, shocked the world. Pregnant women executed, babies ripped from their mothers' arms, elderly couples brutally murdered. The October 7th attack was a meticulously planned act of barbarity, designed to inflict maximum pain and terrorize the civilian population. Section 9. The world takes notice. Global reactions and repercussions. The repercussions of the October 7th attack reverberated across the globe. Condemnation from world leaders was swift and unanimous. The United States, the European Union, and the United Nations all denounced the attacks as acts of terrorism and barbarism, demanding an immediate cessation of hostilities. International support for Israel poured in, with many countries offering condolences and pledging solidarity. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, many nations provided Israel with military aid and intelligence sharing to bolster its defenses. The October 7th attack proved to be a watershed moment, exposing the true face of Hamas under Sinwar's leadership. The world was forced to confront the stark reality of a terrorist organization determined to inflict unimaginable suffering upon innocent civilians. Section 10. Sinwar's Endgame. What does the future hold? Yahya Sinwar, the architect of unimaginable carnage, remains a shadowy figure, his true intentions as opaque as ever. While he claims his fight is for Palestinian liberation, the brutality unleashed on October 7th paints a far more sinister picture. Sinwar's endgame remains a subject of intense debate among intelligence agencies and terrorism experts. Some believe he seeks nothing less than the complete annihilation of Israel, a dystopian vision fueled by a toxic blend of radical ideology and unwavering conviction. Others posit that his actions represent a calculated strategy aimed at extracting concessions from a beleaguered Israel. What is undeniable is Sinwar's cunning and adaptability, exploiting geopolitical shifts to his advantage. As long as Sinwar remains at large, the specter of violence will continue to haunt the region. Understanding his motivations, strategies, and ultimate objectives is a matter of global security, a race against time to prevent further bloodshed and chaos. Section 11. A Legacy of Violence. Can there be peace in the shadow of terror? The legacy of Yahya Sinwar is inextricably intertwined with violence. His name has become synonymous with terror, his actions a chilling testament to the destructive power of unchecked hatred. In the wake of the October 7th massacre, the question that hangs heavy in the air is whether peace can ever be achieved while men like Sinwar hold sway. The path to peace in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict has always been fraught with obstacles, a treacherous landscape littered with broken promises and historical grievances. Yet the sheer scale of the October 7th attack, the deliberate targeting of civilians, and the blatant disregard for human life have cast a long shadow over any hope for a negotiated settlement. Sinwar has sown the seeds of discord deep within Palestinian society. His brand of violent resistance, while embraced by some, has alienated others, deepening the chasm between those who yearn for peace and those who cling to the rhetoric of hatred and revenge. Until the root causes of extremism are addressed, the cycle of violence will continue, claiming innocent lives and pushing the dream of peace further out of reach.